So today I'm going to start on making a sheath for this knife. I've made a few knives that were real similar to this for an Amish man, and he did leather work. So I didn't have to make him no sheaths. But what he did do, after I made him the first couple of knives, he gave me some pointers, schooled me a little bit on making these sheaths. I mean, he is a wonderful leather man. He can do stuff with leather. It's just unbelievable. But he gave me a few little pointers, gave me a little bit of schooling on some leather work. So we'll see if I can apply what the Amish man taught me. So the first thing I did was I drew me a line. Got me a straight line, and from there measured down 2 1/4 inches. Most of your belts, the standard size is 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inches. So I want to leave enough room to have my belt loops put the belt holes in. So I've got them marked on both sides. Now I'm going to draw me a line all the way across. Now this top line is going to represent the waistline. It's going to look upside down, but like the Amish man, like he told me, he said it's better to draw it out whenever you draw the knife out on a sheath like this with the blade edge up, because with the blade edge down you cut your leg. You don't want to cut your leg. So I'll lay that there, try to now figure out where exactly how I want this belt line to be. I'm going to come back just a little bit more. Make this come down right here like that a little bit, and I might change my mind. Might not like this when I get done with it. But that's the way you do it. I mean, might not have it. You draw out one. If you don't like it, change it. That's why you use your piece of paper or something before you start cutting on your leather. You want to make sure you like what you're fixing to do before you do it. This will be the back side. Like I said, I might put a sweat shield back here. Now once I'll get this cut out, I know first off I want to make sure that I right on here back side. I also want to note that this will be the flesh side also. That way when I go to cut it out of the leather, I don't cut it out upside down. So there it is. I've got it cut out. That'll be the sweat shield. That's the way it'll set in the sheath. So leave a little bit. Make it fit perfect up to the blade, because you got to remember you're going to be sewing this up, and you need a stitch line that's going to come around it, and it's got to be able to set over the blade. Now I'm going to take my cut piece, lay it on this is construction board, I think, poster board, piece of poster board. But I'm going to lay this over here, and I'm going to trace it out. Now, so I've got that traced out. And on this one, I'll make sure I put grain side on this one. What is it, girl? What is it? You don't like it rain? No, I don't either. You better enjoy the weather today though, because it's supposed to be about 70 degrees today, and it's going to be down to freezing tomorrow. It's going to be down to 32. 70 today, 32 degrees tomorrow. And it's going to start snowing. It's going to start. We're going to have some ice, but then it's supposed to start snowing. So I know what I'm tired of it too. Can't make up its mind whether it's going to snow, rain, turn springtime, turn winter time. We have winter one week, spring the next week. Alright, so now I'm ready to trace this out on the leather and get that cut out. I got it marked grain side. The smooth side of your leather is the grain side. The rough part, that's the flesh side. So we get this traced out. Now this other one, the flesh side, I'm going to flip it over. Find me a spot close to this other one that I've got here. So I don't want to waste my leather. So I'm going to try to keep as close as I can. I've got that traced out. Now that I've got this traced out, I'm going to take a utility knife. That's the old cheap utility knife. And I'm going to cut that out. So I've got that cut out. And the next thing I'm going to do is this belt grinder. Now I built this belt grinder. I didn't buy it like this. I made it. What I'm going to do next is I've got an old belt. I try to keep most all my old belts, and that's what I'm going to use around the edges. I'm just going to go around the edges and clean it up. That way whenever I go to make the stitch line, I've got a good even surface to follow by. So here's that little tool I was talking about that I make my stitch line with. It's a groove cutter. And I lay it up here on the edge, let this part hang over the edge, and then I'll just go around it like that, making for that line. I'll just start out like that. Like I say, I put a little cleaner on it so it looks it's a little wet, but I don't know if you can see the line. But now I've got a line to follow by to punch my holes in, and then I can start sewing it up. But before I do that, I'm going to put a little tooling on this. I'll take this knife. I want to go ahead and mark out where that blade is going to set, and then I want to make me a stitch line down through here. I'm going to take me a pencil And I'm going to draw this line. I'm going to take my pencil and draw this line on here. Now I've got the shape of the blade on there with the pencil. You can't see it real good, but it's there. Now I want to cut out the groove for that stitch line. Sometimes this thing gets, your groover gets clogged up. And the easiest way to get that unclogged, heat it up. Take an old piece of scrap leather. And see, it's pretty simple. At first, they told me to use a straight pin or something. Heat it up and use a straight pin, but I found all you had to do is just heat it just a little bit. Take another piece of scrap leather and it'll push that out of there. Now, so what I'm doing now, so I've got this little sanding file. It looks just like a fingernail file, and it's, well, some of them fingernail files are made like this. But I'm just going over it. The reason I do this, going over it like this, sometimes it brings out a natural grain pattern. And whenever you dye it, you can see that natural pattern. Now, there you go. There's that natural pattern I was talking about. So, I've got this that I've got to put into it. So I'm fixing to do a little tooling. I'm going to do some more tooling too, but the first thing I want to do is I want to wet my leather up. Because I'm making this for somebody, and they wanted their branding logo on it, and they wanted their C behind the S. Now I want to cut this. I want to take my swivel knife and cut that out. Now I've got that carved into it. I'm going to have time to tool that out. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little basket weave to it. This is the part where I hope I don't mess it up, because then I have to do it all over again. Give you an idea of what it's starting to look like. So now the next thing I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go ahead and stain it up. Next thing I'm going to start doing is I'm going to get the holes punched in where all the stitch lines is going to be. I'll get the other piece, I'll get it dyed up, and then once I start putting it together, I'll hand sew it, and I'll put some spacers. I'll add some spacers, another piece of leather in between that way, because you don't want to take a chance of the blade cutting the stitching when you take it out. So it's going to have some spacers in here, kind of sandwich it together. And then, of course, I'll get these cut out for the belt. So more than likely, the next time you see this sheath, it's going to be a finished sheath.